Dad Crossing, a podcast about animals and parenting. Today's episode is all about Christmas, snowfolk, and those balloons. So many balloons. On the parenting side, we are talking about post-Christmas toy extravaganza. So many pieces to put together. Our kids' favorite toys and which ones that got more time playing with the box than the toy itself. But to start off, we want to give a huge welcome to the show to an awesome community member and contributor to our Animal Crossing community, Chad Benoist, better known to many of our Discord members as, hey, it's Chad. Hey, Chad, tell us about yourself. How you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. Christmas, wrapping that up. New Year's is coming up. Everything's been pretty good. Just enjoying life, I guess.
Awesome, man. Well, so tell us, you're a dad, I know that, but like what ages are your kids? Like tell us what you got for kiddos.
So kids, I'm one of the dads who actually have some of the older kids. I've got one who's getting ready to turn 16. And then we have two, both 13. So two girls, one boy. The boy is one of the 13-year-olds.
Gotcha.
So gaming experience with them has been kind of fun because I've kind of gone the full gamut with them from the time they were little till now, all the way from they can't play Mario at all to my daughter kicking my tail at Mario Kart. So I've kind of had the gambit, and with them being older, it's a little bit more fun too because they're a lot more capable of playing games now.
Yeah, that's awesome. I understand the kicking of the butt. I'm really nervous. I was just telling my wife yesterday that Noah, who is 6 years old, only 6, has better reflexes than I do. I only beat him in games like Boomerang Fu because of my experience of knowing what's coming next. So I'm just going to love the next couple of years until I no longer am I'm probably going to be the guy that sucks at games. So, I'm not looking forward to that.
Basically, you're only going to play games that you know you're very good at.
That's right. Yeah. No, seriously, man. Like Boomerang Fu started out as a game of like, I just, sometimes I'll let him get one in or something like that. And now it's like a claw for me to beat him by 1 or 2 points in that game. I mean, he is really good, and he always he's just better at his reflexes are faster than mine, man. So yeah, I don't look forward to the time where Noah can beat my tail, but it's coming. I know it is. So, but we really thank you for joining the cast. We thank you for all you are always so right on it in the channel for chatting with people, answering questions, and then you put on that awesome event. Was it 2 weeks ago now or something like that? Where the
Black Friday sale.
Yeah, the Black Friday sale. That's it. That's right. I guess it's more than
like
2 weeks
ago.
Yeah, more than 2 weeks ago. But it's 2020, so it all just kind of blends together. Sean, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Cheers. Just stuck in that time warp between Christmas and like 2021 where you don't know if you made cheese or biscuits or whatnot. So yeah, it's pretty good. It's cold. We had snow yesterday for the first time this year, which was nice, and lasted all of about 2 minutes, and it rained. So.
And it all went away.
Yeah, basically, it was like literally. Cause I sat there yesterday morning and got a bit of time to play on the Switch without the kids being up yesterday morning, and kind of sat and looked out the window. I was like, "Oh wow, it's snowing! It's actually settling." And then sat back down. 20 minutes later, I looked out to the window and went, "Oh well, that's it. I'm gonna get up early to see this stuff." So yeah, pretty good. I just want to say it's nice that we've got somebody that's got older kids as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's good that we've got somebody that's experienced all the ages. So
yep. Yeah,
an interesting take on things.
I'll get all my advice from you guys. Don't worry. Six is as old as I go at the moment, so we'll see how. I'll just keep on leaning on you guys on that. Yeah, we had snow for the first time. Actually, well, not the first time. We had it a couple times too. But Christmas, we had a dusting, which is very nice. Little Christmas snow. Just it wasn't a lot. What didn't impede traffic, but was enough to just have a white Christmas. Then it went away, just like it did for you. But right now, actually, it's snowing. Like we're probably gonna have I'd say a couple inches by the time morning hits. So that's cool. I'll take that. For me, I'll just be real honest because we're an open podcast. Like we like to be honest and open and kind of share with our listeners. Christmas Eve, my wife was diagnosed with COVID, so she's doing fine. So no, like there's nothing. I mean, I don't want to say fine, but she's not in the hospital or anything detrimental like that, right? She's very tired. She has the headaches. She can't taste anything. I think they can't taste anything. I think that's what's really making her the most angry. It's just we have spaghetti. She's like, I don't know, it doesn't taste like anything to me. Like she eats a cookie. She's like, I don't know, whatever. I can't taste anything.
I couldn't imagine Christmas dinner with not being able to taste.
Yeah. She's like, the exhaustion I can like fight through, the headaches I can deal with, but like, yeah, the tasting's really bugging her. The biggest pain for us, or not out of pain. I mean, there are people out there who have had it worse than our deal, right? But being quarantined on Christmas Eve morning all the way through Christmas Eve, Christmas, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, that was a big kick in the face for us, because we just always do a ton of stuff over that time period. I'm usually off of work for that whole time period, and we're going to family and friends and stuff like that. And I mean, not that we were going to slow it down, of course, like we weren't going to do everything we would have normally done, but we still have like a bubble family that we kind of hang out with, that we go over to. They go to the same school, they're in classes together and everything. And so obviously all that got put on hold, and we've just been hanging out together. And the kids have been quite amazing, actually, to be honest. I mean, it's worked out. I mean, it hasn't worked out, I don't want to say well, but I mean, they understand why they have to do it. And yeah, I mean, they've just really understood it. They're, as they say, kids are super resilient. And we told them, there were some tears for sure when we told them that, yeah, we weren't going to be going anywhere this year. And, but yeah, they bounced back pretty quick, and we've had a pretty good Christmas. I mean, as good as you can have relative to the story I just told, quite frankly. So that's where we've been at the moment. So anyways, that said, what you been playing, Sean?
I've been playing quite a few things since last time. I kind of bottomed out and said I was too busy to be playing anything. My list this time is actually quite long. So off the back of the last podcast, I went and bought Cyberpunk 2077. I won't say much about that other than I've not really played it that much because it's unplayable on the Xbox One.
All right, great. That's good.
But we'll talk about that a bit more later.
Yeah.
Call of Duty, they brought out their new, I don't know what you want to call it, but they've gone back to season 1. So they brought out a huge new update, which didn't really change, right? A lot, gave you some new skins and different weapons, I think it's so. But I've been playing that quite a bit again, so quite into that. My dad got me Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, the remaster, for my birthday, and safe to say your muscle memory for games like that come back very, very quick, because awesome. I used to pretty much speed run it as a kid, and within like the first day or two of having it kind of got to 75% of the game. That's including 1 and 2. So
wow,
flying through that pretty quick.
I have a vague memory of renting one of those games from a Blockbuster. Like, I don't remember even which one, but I remember renting one from a Blockbuster and playing it for a weekend. And I remember enjoying it, but yeah, that's my experience with Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Yeah, some of the challenges on some of the levels are as difficult and annoying as I remember them. So Miami Beach in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, one of the challenges that you had to do is ollie the 5 magical bums.
The 5 magical what?
Bums, as in
bums?
Homeless people.
Okay.
And it kind of doesn't stay in. There isn't 5 of them. There's just one of them, and when you ollie over him, he vanishes and reappears somewhere else. So trying to remember where the locations that he went to every time is quite difficult. So I just want to get 2 minutes.
This wouldn't be a challenge in 2020. I just feel like this wouldn't pass muster. Oh. This wouldn't be PC in 2020.
So because you want to get 2 minutes a run to get challenges done, it's like it can be quite difficult to try and remember where everything is. So, but yeah, that's pretty good. Christmas Day saw me get the Pro Controller and Immortals.
I can't believe it's taken you this long. I mean, seriously, it blows my mind that you just got a Pro Controller.
Well, it's only because I moaned to Lindsay that all the Joy-Cons that we have, the left-hand Joy-Con is now drifting to the point where, yeah, it's almost everything's unplayable. But she said she's got me that, and she got me Immortals Phoenix Rising. But then off the back of reading through a few posts, WD-40, the electrical contact cleaner, so the manufacturer WD-40 do an electrical contact cleaner. That stuff apparently is the stuff that people use to fix Joy-Con drift. So I ordered it. It cost me £6.50. That should come today, and I'm going to try it and see if it fixes it.
That's what John always says. Our good from our good friend from Dad's After Dark, that it's this contact cleaner, and I think Tim even mentions that too. Chad, do you have a Pro controller?
I do. I think I got it maybe 6 or 7 months after I got the Switch. I got the Switch when it first launched. I used the crap out of it whenever I got Splatoon. It makes the game so much easier. And the same thing with Zelda or any other game you have to aim with. I pretty much, unless it's in handheld mode, if it's docked, I'm using the Pro controller.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, I'm glad you joined us, Sean.
Yeah. So, but Immortals Phoenix Rising, yeah, how you said previously, it's a homage to Breath of the Wild. It is. It's fantastic. You get past the narrative bit for this, like the tutorial section for the game, which I know Dan keeps being on it, but I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't say a massive fan of Greek mythology, but like my mum was. So growing up, I used to watch films about it, and like obviously Hercules, the Disney film with the kids and stuff like that. It's good to see how they've pitched Zeus being and the relationship between him and Prometheus while they're talking is really funny. And even the characters that obviously Phoenix himself, but then Hermes, the guy that you meet, the chat and the jokes between them referencing certain other gods and stuff like that is really funny. And that's an aspect of the game that I didn't think would be funny, but it is. So that's really good. The only downside I've got is the battle system, but I think that's more me pressing the wrong buttons all the time. And aiming with arrows. Breath of the Wild, you could use the gyro of the Switch, or I'm assuming the Pro Controller has the gyro function as well. Oh, you can do that?
Yep, you can go into options and add the gyro to it, but it doesn't come that way. But yep, you can do that for arrows, and then also for the Farsight. You can use the gyro for that as well. So and it's the same thing, just kind of like Splatoon, where you can use the left stick, and then if you want to just like adjust it just a hair, you can move your controller one way or another.
Ace. Okay, so that's the first thing I'm doing when we finish this morning is just doing that, because the arrow system, when in battles and stuff like that, trying to get the arrows, I use the Apollo's arrow more than anything, because it's the most accurate thing you can use.
Yeah, that's great. But you're right, like in battle, it leaves you too open for too long to use Apollo's arrow for most of the time. So yeah, I totally agree. I haven't made it as far as I thought I would in Immortals, because I'll let you bring up the next game, but the game you're going to talk about is the reason I haven't made it as far. We can chat about that too. But what I have played, I have absolutely loved. I am a little too, I play Animal Crossing. I collect crap. It's what I love to do in a game. And so I am a little too collectathon-ish, I think, because I just get sucked into it. It's like, it's a chest. I'm going to go find a chest, and then there's this, and then there's this. And I'm like, I don't even know the last time I did a quest in that game. I'm just like beating up guys so that I can unlock chests. Like, that's all I'm doing, It's just so,
the open world aspect of it is really good. That's where it's on par with Breath of the Wild. The stamina aspect for climbing, jumping, gliding, makes it that, like you say, kind of like, say, right, okay, I need to go over that way. It's 1,000 whatever the measurement is in the game. I don't think it's meters.
It's a miles, meters. I don't know what it is. Don't ask me.
So it's 1,000 meters in that direction, and then like 200 meters later, I'm like, oh, something shiny. Oh, something shiny.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I was like, there's an enemy that I think, I'll defeat them, because there's usually, if there's a group of enemies, there's usually something interesting nearby.
Do you? Oh, sorry. The one thing I will say when you were talking about combat is, I guess because I've played so much Zelda, I'm used to a Z target. I mean, that's just how I know. That's how I know to refer to it, where you can kind of lock on to, and it just kind of keeps you face to face with that guy. I miss that in Immortals because there's not really a way to Z target and lock on to one guy.
If you press down the right analog stick,
it locks you in.
Locks you onto one of them, and then you
really
can just shift it. Yeah, you shift it from target to target by hitting like using the analog stick to just kind of like switch between available targets.
I feel like I totally missed that somewhere in the tutorial.
Hey, you told me I could do something with the gyros, so you know.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah. If you just press down the right analog stick, it kind of brings like a yellow diamond on your target, and then you can switch between them. So.
Huh. Chad, are you playing Immortals or anything like that?
Not yet, but listening to you guys talk about it, it makes me really intrigued to definitely try, especially, I don't know, but the whole jokes between the gods thing kind of makes me really want to play it.
Yeah. It's a good game. It's a good game for sure.
So, and then the last one that I've been playing, which I know you're really excited about, Nick, is the mobile game Among Us that made its debut on the Switch, I think a week or so ago.
Yeah, something like
that. I tried it as a mobile game and played it in free time in places. And it's interesting. I kind of like fumbled my way through it. Most servers that I tried to join on the mobile game where I've asked for English, people don't speak English. So I kind of like aborted it. But I know my daughter plays it, my eldest, and she's 14. So I downloaded it on the Switch. I actually told her about it last night, and she didn't really seem that excited, to the point where she goes, "Oh, we don't really play that anymore." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Fantastic.
Great stuff. She's gone back to Roblox, believe it or not, at 14.
Yeah.
I
don't have to deal with that yet. So see, I'll be coming to you guys shortly with that probably.
So yeah, I've picked Among Us up. I think I had some gold points on the eShop, so I managed to pick it up for like 81 pence, which I know it's only £3 something, but yeah, I picked it up for 81 pence. It's a fun game. It's like live Cluedo. It's great. I think the aspect of it where you can have one or more imposters. You can either sabotage or just basically wander around and kill somebody, hide them. Because I think there's an aspect. I've not really been the imposter yet, but I'm assuming there's an aspect of being able to hide the body. And
no, there is not.
Oh.
So that's kind of why it's like so. So my journey with this game has been really hilarious, and if you're on Discord, you know it. It came out, and I'm a sucker for shiny objects in Discord, especially if it's only going to cost me $5 over here in the US. And so people were like, "Oh, Among Us is great." So I'm like, all right, download it. I downloaded it like immediately, and I start playing it. And the matching system in that game's horrid. Like it's old school. What is it? 90s? Would you say 90s, where you had to like you click on a room and see if it's oh nope, the room's full, and so it kicks you out, and then you're like, you try again, oh nope, that one's full too, and it's like, oh my gosh, just let me play a match. Like I'll just tell you I want to play, and you find me people and send me away. Like that's what I want you to do, but it does like this old school room thing, and it's horrible. And so that was like my first impression of it. And I played like 3 matches. I finally was able to get into a game with like 6 other random people, and they all seemed to end immediately. I usually got killed faster than I knew what was going on, and that was it. And I like logged out of the game, and I was like, this game sucks. I don't know what you people like about it. I was like over it. And so then It just so happened, we're in quarantine, obviously, and my wife was on the couch with me, and I was like, I knew that the game was on cell phone too, and my wife is not a gamer in the sense that she wants to play on the Switch, like that's not her thing, but she likes Dr. Mario, she likes stuff like that, and so I was like, hey, there's this game, and I'm wondering if you want to just kind of download it and we can try to figure it out together because I could use some help here because people keep saying it's awesome and I keep saying it sucks, but maybe I'm missing something. And she was like, I guess, whatever, I don't have anything better to do, basically. And so we both get into a game and she's like, this game sucks. And I was like, I know, that's what I said. And so, but then we started to play it and she was like, this, no. And she was like, and so it was really a moment where we both thought the game was horrible and we both were figuring it out at the same time. And by the time we were done, we were like, hey, this is kind of fun. If we could play with people that we could actually talk to, this could be great. And so we started to get all of our friends in it. And so lo and behold, we spend this week alone, so it's Tuesday, considering Sunday, we have spent probably 5-6 hours playing Among Us in the last 3 days. Like, it's ridiculous with like just a group of 8 friends that we can find. We all jump on, we all just do a group call is all we do. Nothing fancy, no Zoom, no nothing, like no video, just a group call. And we all just talk and play this stupid game for like, I don't know, an hour and a half, 2 hours every night. And so, yeah, that's why I haven't made it very far in Immortals, because I've been doing this instead. But sorry, I didn't mean to hijack your topic, but that's...
Oh, no, it's fine. It's in your list as well, so...
That's been my thing, and I know you've listened to me now talk about it for a while, but... So I should have started with this, but... So you can become... in case you don't know what it is, if you've ever played Mafia in youth group, have either of you played Mafia in like a youth group or a youth setting or anything like that? No, Chad, have you ever...
Not.
Okay. So in Mafia, like we played it in youth group. There'd be like 10 kids and one would be the killer. And the whole idea was to kind of meander around the room, and you would tap on the person's shoulder if you were the killer, and they had to fall to the ground. And the idea was to like look around and do it when nobody was looking, right? And if somebody caught you, then they could call a meeting and be like, hey, it's that person, I know it is, and you would vote for it. And that's exactly what Among Us is. One person, it can be up to 3, I think, but one person is the imposter. They can go around killing people. You really want to do it as silent as possible. You can do some sabotaging and stuff like that to your environment. And all the crewmates need to do their tasks in the area. You do your tasks because if all the crewmates get all their tasks done, then they win. And so that's it. Like, you got to play it to really get it. Like, that's all I can say. Because whenever I describe it to somebody, they look at me and say, or they just look at me and say, that sounds dumb. And it kind of does, unless you play it, and then you love it, I think. That's all I can say. I'm done.
All I can say is for the people behind it, the developers behind it, have dropped on, because there's not much to the game.
Yeah.
There's graphically, it's very like cartoon animated. There's no great graphics to it. It's like a 2D top-down kind of thing. The servers obviously don't take much to run because, like she said, they're old school way of and they're making a killing. Like the merchandise off the back of it, the hype that the game's developed. It's just well done.
Yep, exactly.
In this day and age, well done.
Exactly, 100%. So yeah, that's crazy to me. Anything else you've been playing now that I basically just hijacked most of your time? Sorry about
that. No, that's it.
That's it. And to be honest, that's all I've been playing is Immortals, Phoenix Rising whenever I have a spare minute, and Among Us. Those are the only 2 extra games I've been playing. Chad, what about you, man? What have you been playing?
I've been playing a little bit of everything. I was a little bit on the curve on the Hyrule Warriors, the Age of Calamity. I kind of got it as a late Christmas gift. Started playing that. I've gotten through the last mission where you get all the champions, and I'm kind of paused there the last couple of days. Kind of have this weird thing. I don't know if anyone else is probably where you're kind of going back and forth between Age of Calamity and Breath of the Wild. just to kind of get the whole story back together.
That's a cool idea.
Because the whole thing, I think that was the whole thing that drew me to Hyrule Warriors, because I played other Dynasty War type games and didn't really like it. But I think it's because it's that story of Breath of the Wild that's kind of kept me in there. So that's been pretty cool. I have played Among Us, not lately, but I have played it the last couple of weeks with kids, which was, I kind of had a similar experience to you, where I started playing this and like, I don't get this. What am I doing? No, Dad, just go here, just go there. They egged me on for probably about an hour, and I finally became the imposter. And after that, I was kind of hooked.
Yeah.
So I played it with them.
Yep.
And I found, I don't know if anyone else has done this, I think the best strategy I've found is, if you're an imposter, go into a room with 2 other people, and if you see one of them doing the task, wipe the other person out and then run out as quick as you can. Because then the other person's around completely guilty.
Yep. Yeah,
so,
it's totally true.
So that's fun.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I've been playing kind of goes in with what I was playing a couple of weeks ago. I picked up Doom when it was on sale, the original Doom, when it was on sale on Black Friday. So I ended up picking up Doom 1, 2, 3, and 64. And about halfway first game.
Kind of losing you, Chad.
Games 1 and 2 I played whenever I was here, when they were actually out for PC, so that was pretty cool.
All right, you back?
That's what I've been up to. Definitely with the super what I have with Hyrule Warriors. I'm going to stay off that channel and the Discord so I don't get any spoilers, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, my story with Hyrule Warriors is I bought it. I split it with a friend of mine and have yet to actually play the game. So I don't know when I'll get to it or if I'll ever get to it, quite frankly. But I played the demo and I liked it, so I was like, oh, I'll pick this up. And I should have known better. Well, I kind of did know better. That's why I split it with a friend, because I was like, you know what? I don't know if I'm actually going to get to this. And so I was like, if I only have to pay half price, I'll feel better about it. And so that's how that happened. I will say, on Among Us, the one thing I find, we let our son play this game, which I find so funny, that like when I showed my wife Immortals Phoenix Rising, which is not a gory game at all. There's no blood whatsoever. Like when you beat an enemy, it just kind of flies off into the distance. My wife was like, meh, there's guns, right, or there's axes and swords and fighting. Yeah, I don't know. And so I was like, okay, that's fine. I'll play it after, when the kid goes to bed. No problem. No big deal. But then we let our son play Among Us, where like these kids, I mean, I get their cartoons and everything, but still, like, it's fairly gory how they die, right? And our kid's like, I found a dead body in the hall. It's what? What'd you say, Chad?
I said it's surprisingly gory or cartoonish. I'm kind of impressed by how many ways I have myself died whenever someone has killed me. I've seen probably about a dozen different ways.
I know. And every time I'm sitting there when I look at it, I'm sitting there thinking, I don't want to say anything because I enjoy playing it with him. And my wife enjoys playing it with him. But I'm like, I don't understand.
I suppose when that's not the Immortals, one of the main aspects of it is the battle. So it's quite heavy on the combat side of things, where it's kind of just the funny side of the animation. So I wonder if that's how she's let it slide.
Yeah, well, and I think she saw the beginning. So she saw Typhon in the beginning, which, to be fair, that could have possibly scared him. The beginning clip of that when he's talking. Yeah. So he looks pretty scary in that, especially for a 6-year-old. But anyways, it still baffles me. Still find it fun.
So I assume that because none of us have got it on the list, that we've all been playing Animal Crossing as well. So
that's true. That's true. You know what? Let's chat about those animals in our lives. All right, Isabel's morning announcements. So we've had the Toy Day. Did we all take part in Toy Day this last week?
I did. I completely forgot it was on the 24th, not the 25th. So I logged in on the 24th to try and catch up on some DIYs because I had a bit of spare time between the kids being awake and the kids going to sleep and having to do the duties of ensuring that the mince pie and milk was readily guarded for the jolly fat man coming down the chimney. So I jumped on it and realised Jingle's here and it's Toy Day. Why have I kind of took so long to realise that? So I went around doing things. I enjoyed it. It was a good day. I think it was a really good event. The only downside, I think, is that I'd like to have kept that sack as a...
Yes! Amen to that.
An item. So it kind of goes with the full Santa outfit that you get.
Yeah. I don't know why they took the sack away from you. Doesn't make any sense. Chad, what do you think about it?
I did. I kind of have the same thing as Sean. I popped in. I had to work on Christmas Eve, but I always get up a couple hours before, and I got them, and I was like, oh, well, look who's here. I guess I'll go ahead and take care of this if I can. It was a lot easier than I thought it was. I think of all the events that they've had so far this year, that probably has been the easiest knockout because all you've got to do is just walk up to people.
Yep.
And just, here you go. And I don't know if you guys did like the after part where after you gave everyone their presents, you can go back and give them another present. It will give you a different variation of a toy that you may not have. I did that part. I didn't. I did it just to get it out of the way. But something that's in our group, and I think it was him. Somehow, I guess he's a time pirate or time lord, one or the other. He had pretty much everything, and a couple of us went and cataloged those items at the beginning of the season. But it was pretty fun.
Yeah, did you say that was Solo something? Is that what you said?
I'm pretty sure it was him.
Yeah, I think it was. I just went to his island today, which kudos to him because he gave me I got a lot of gold DIYs from him today. Really appreciate that. But yeah, I already saw a balloon arc that said 2021. So yeah, hey man, our fellow or previous co-host, he was a time pirate, and you know what? Nothing wrong with that if that's how you want to play. So yeah, I was running by it and I was like, where did he? Oh, I know how we got that. So I can't wait to get that balloon arc whenever that happens. So that'll be fun.
It looks pretty sweet. It does.
So yeah, I yeah. Go ahead.
Did you use the stockings?
Jingle
gave you.
Oh yeah.
Did you get a surprise for hanging them?
Did you not use the stockings, Sean?
I hung them up.
And did you look inside of them?
Oh, you look inside of them?
You look inside of them.
Surprise. Just like real Christmas.
Yeah. Sean, just for those being everybody who listens, Sean's breaking out a Switch now to get what he will find out is a jingle picture. Hopefully you can still get it. I hope it doesn't go away after a day or something like that. That would be pretty mean. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But you'll be able to fill us in a second, Sean. I thought Toy Day was fun. I thought it was probably the right length for the day that it was, right? I mean, you don't want a 3-hour task on Christmas Eve. You got things to do. And I can appreciate that Nintendo realizes that. Totally agree with keeping the sack. That should have been a thing. I will tell you, as a guy, and pretty much everybody here knows this, I don't look ahead. I don't look for secrets. I don't go out there and try to figure out what's coming next because I like the surprise, even though I'm on a podcast. I mean, if that's what you want to do, there's 5 million other places other than here that you'll get that, I figure. So I really thought that all the toys that we kept getting were somehow hooked into Toy Day. I was going to be wrapping these toys and giving them to villagers. So when that never happened, I have a whole second story full of toys I never do anything with. So I'm going to either store them or sell them. Do one of the two. I don't know which. Or maybe give them away as New Year's presents.
Yeah, I kind of ran into the situation because I'm pretty sure in New Leaf, which was the last one that came out for the 3DS, you had to do that. The last week or so before Toy Day, you'd go around and talk to your villagers and go, oh, you know what? I really, really wish I had this item. And when Toy Day ran around, it was your job to go to them and give them whatever they asked for. If you gave them something they didn't like or they didn't ask for, like, oh, okay, I appreciate it, not be rude. But if you gave everyone what they asked for, that's how you get the rewards then. So it was different in this. I think a lot of people had that expectation, like you and I did, with you're going to give them what they asked for, and this was a lot easier.
Yeah, it was for sure. That is without a doubt. I thought the items. So Sean, did you figure it out? Did you get something in your stocking?
Literally just going back inside the house now.
Oh, that makes sense. We're waiting with bated breath for your answer, Sean.
Yeah, I kind of thought, hold on, there's something inside.
Wait. Oh, good.
Helping my kids open Christmas presents all over again.
You should see
You should see his face, everybody. It's amazing. He is overjoyed, ecstatic to have a picture of Jingle.
That worked. Yes. So, okay. I didn't realize you had to go up and interact with it. I kind of just expected it to be like something that came in the mail or like both scenes. So.
Well, I was with you.
That was a good touch.
Yeah, it was. It was a neat thing that they did. But I was with you. Like when I walked in the door and I was like, well, there's nothing there. And so luckily I just went up to it and pressed the A button out of like desperation, I suppose. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to get something. But yeah, I really thought there'd be like something sticking out of the stocking or something like that, you would say. Yeah. So, yeah.
Speaking with I was busy then with the toys and stuff like that leading up to it. I've kind of given each of my villagers a toy wrapped up anyway in the spirit of Christmas, but I've picked toys that are specific to what the personality of each of those villages are like. So I gave Stitches got like a little, because he's one of my favorite villagers. He got a toy RC helicopter. Mm-hmm. I gave Teddy like a Scalextric style set, but then like is it Diana? She seems quite quaint, so she's got like the nice frilly looking doll's house. So I've done that, and when you go into their homes, they've kind of got them presented, and it's
really
that's
cool.
Yeah. So it's quite nice to see that. So I kind of done that because I didn't realize that there was anything else you could do with them.
I didn't either.
It'd have been good if you had to wrap them and then deliver them and like be a bit more specific, so they kind of give you clues for out. But yeah, that did work.
Yeah, it was definitely different than what I thought it was, but it wasn't in a bad way different, I don't think. I can't tell you what was different in a bad way. How you acquired all these horrible festive DIY recipes in 5,000 balloons. I wish I had a counter of how many balloons I shot down from like December 15th to, I don't know. I think I finished it on like the 22nd or 23rd. I finally got the last DIY. I mean, I legit would stay right here because that's a different story. Because I was working from home. And so I had my Switch hooked up on the TV that's nobody can see but to the left of me. And I would be doing work and I had a little timer every 5 minutes that would go off, and I would run the beach and I'd shoot down some gosh forsaken balloon. And you know what I get? Some stupid like air conditioner or air circulator or something that had nothing to do with festive recipes. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, so how was your journey with festive recipes, people? Tell me.
I haven't got any because I've not done any.
No.
Yeah, I saw how much effort people were having. This sounds quite lazy, but I saw how much effort people were having to put into getting out balloons, and I'm honestly a little bit sick of that aspect of the game where you can only get them. I like the Halloween one, the Halloween event, because you could get them from the villagers that were making them, and it made you kind of interact with them to the point where as soon as, what was the Thanksgiving one, when I realized that you weren't getting interesting DIYs from the villagers, I stopped talking to them again and kind of got told off the other day when I started talking to them again, because on Toy Day, every single one of them that I went to, they were like, oh, wow, Sean, we haven't spoken to you for nearly 2 weeks. So I was kind of like, right. So I've not got any of the festive DIYs other than the one that you get from Jingle, the ones that Isabel sends you. So the Snowflake Reef, I've just literally got that now. Yeah, I haven't got any. So if people are feeling sad for me, I want to send some, feel free. But it's the Christmas period is over, and I'm literally waiting for the next event.
I thought I would be giving them out to a lot of people, but after I got the last one, I mean, I didn't have a great percentage that I was getting when I did shoot them down. But now I have only gotten one extra recipe in a balloon since I acquired all of my recipes. And granted, I'm not shooting them down in the same amount, but still, I thought I would get a couple more. How about you, Jed? How was your time in festive DIY hunting?
I think Nightmare Before Christmas is probably
that's good. That's a good one right there. I like that.
But I had about the same experience as you. Now, I didn't keep an exact tally, but I did keep track of how many shots I went through, which was about 5. So I shot down well over 100 balloons before I got them all.
Yeah.
And it took me, I was in the same boat as you, working from home and then a couple of days off where, just every 5 minutes, it's 4 now. It's 9 minutes past and kept running. Oh my God. I was just, by the time I got the last one, I was like, I'm done. I'm sick of balloons. I'm sick of getting clothes and stones and rocks and everything else I don't need.
Yeah.
But I was just glad it was over with.
Yeah. And that's the bummer. Like, that's not fun gaming. Like, I'm gaming out of maybe compulsion at that point, which is just not fun gaming, at least for, speaking of myself. Like, that's how I was doing it, out of like compulsion for wanting all of these things, right? And that's just not fun. And so that kind of feeling is the one that gets me close to being like, yeah, I'm ready to be done with this. It gave me that mobile feeling of like, I'm doing this. It's really hard to do. It's annoying. I just want to get this thing and I want to be done with it. And that's a dangerous place for them to put their users, I think, at least for me personally, because that's the kind of place where I say, you know what, I think I'm pretty much done with this game. Like, I'm doing it now and it feels like work, and I don't like that. And so, yeah.
Yeah, and that's I definitely agree with that. I think Animal Crossing, the majority of people who play it, they're casual gamers, and what you want to do when you do casual gamers, you just pop in, most people probably play maybe 20-30 minutes and that's it. Mm-hmm. And you want that time doing what you like, not hunting down a million balloons. And I know for a fact there was a couple of times it was driving me nuts because okay, well, there's a balloon coming, but I really want to do this instead. And now I'm stuck here. And grinding's great for some games, but it definitely doesn't have much of a place in Animal Crossing at all.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I guess to explain for those of you who are like, why every 5 minutes? What are they talking about? So balloons come in a pattern. The first thing you have to do is figure out sundown on your island, the balloons will come from one direction, and sun up, they'll come from another direction. And every 5 minutes, so basically, like, if it's 1 o'clock, 1:04 and 1:09 is when balloons will start to float. Now, if it's like my island, I don't actually see them on the beach until a minute later, usually. Like 1:05 and 1:10 is when I start seeing them, that I can actually shoot them down, because they start on the far end of your sea, or whatever you want to call it, ocean. And so they got to make that trek through the ocean to get to the actual beach. And so what I would do is at every 5 or 10 minute increment, I would run the beach, and they would, if you don't always have one every 5 minutes. So let me step back and say that you don't always have a balloon every 5 minutes, but that if you do, that's when it'll show up. Sometimes I'd have a couple that come every 5 minutes, and then sometimes I would go 10 minutes without seeing a balloon. So was that kind of your deal, Chad? Is that how you saw it?
Yeah, it was the same way. And I tried to look up and try to see some of the mechanics. I didn't really find a whole lot, but I did find that apparently whenever they did the update right after Halloween, that's when it changed it. Usually 5-minute period across the board, but around that time they changed it where it could be 5 minutes, it could be 10 minutes. And they also changed it with wind speed, apparently plays a part that sometimes the wind's blowing really, really slow. So you'll have balloons barely come in, it takes like 2 to get in. And other times the wind's been hard and they just fly over you and you almost catch it.
Yeah.
So
That makes sense.
It was everywhere.
Yeah. It was not my favorite way to get recipes. I quite frankly, we're about to start talking about snow boys, snow folk. I would rather get recipes snow folk way than have to run around hunting balloons. Like, I mean, making perfect snow folk, at least I know what I need to do, and I don't have to spend time just sitting in a game hunting balloons. And that's my personal opinion. Sean, you got anything else before we move on to Snowfolk?
No, I'm just trying to look very quickly through some of the people reaching out to us on. Sorry, reading at the same time. People trying to reach out to us on Discord about different questions, but I think most of it's just been the gripe that we've covered. So, like Tim's the most recent saying that he didn't think the DIYs were easy to get to, that he's been shooting down balloons and had nothing to do with, the DIYs have had nothing to do with Christmas. And that seems to have upset him quite a bit. Frosticles is the same. So Spider-Shan, or something. So the as usual characters that kind of give us interesting things to talk about have basically all been hammering the same negative points about hunting balloons that it's become ridiculous. So yeah. Yeah,
it's just it was not how and it started too late too. I don't think we mentioned that. It started December 15th. I believe it was 15th. Was it 15th when it started?
It was. Yeah,
okay. And why they started it on the 15th is beyond me, because all they really did is, one, shorten the amount of time you had, and two, they butted it right up against starting, what was it, like 2 or 3 days later, wasn't it, that the Snowfolk started? Or was it the same day? Is it the same day, or was it?
It was the same day, but they did the other snow recipes like a couple of days before, whenever, I think it was the 8th. Whenever snow started finally staying on the ground. So you had like 3 DIYs kind of crisscrossing at the same time.
Yeah, and that was the other thing. It was like, why didn't you give us more time to work on the festive ones? I mean, even if you're going to do this balloon thing, why don't you start it on the 1st and at least give us more time to hunt these balloons, and then also give us some space between doing that and then the snow folk and everything. I don't know. It just did. I don't understand why how they chose to do it. And I don't know if it has something to do. I haven't looked to see what the southern hemisphere was going through, because obviously they weren't dealing with snowfolk at that time. But they did have festive DIY same time, because obviously they still have Christmas. So I don't know if it had something to do with them having to match up those hemispheres or what. But yeah, it started, in my opinion, it started too late, too close to the snowfolk and all that fun stuff. But
so yeah, these kind of events, I'm going to say it's like literally the thought that's just popped into my head is, I'd rather you'd be able to go to Nooks Cranny and buy like festive DIY packs for bells, that way, and then make the items that you like, the materials that you need to make the DIYs more interesting together, rather than having to go for because that running to the beach every 5 minutes is just, it sounds stressful. This game isn't stressful. This game helps millions of people that bought it through lockdown stay sane. It's a distraction. So I think it's getting to the point now where if it's getting that difficult to play, people are going to start putting the game down.
Yeah, I totally
and something else. And they don't want to do, like, Nintendo don't want to do that. They don't want to push people away from something that was a Game of the Year contender and helped so many people.
Yeah. Especially something like Christmas, as beloved as Christmas and Christmas decorations and all that stuff. Like, To be fair, I didn't get all the maple items, and I actually went through my DIYs just yesterday to see what I was missing. I think I'm missing like 70. I didn't get all the DIYs for the maple thing or the autumn thing, but you know what? I got all the autumn. I didn't get all the cherry blossom ones. You know what? I didn't really care. Like I didn't walk away from that event and be like, and I wasn't as maniacal with that because, okay, like I would have liked to have them all, sure, but I didn't get them, so that's fine. And maybe I'll pick them up next time around when I'm playing next year. But Christmas is such a huge thing in the globally. So like, why would you make those that hard to get? Like if anything, those should be easy to get so people can just enjoy them. Like if you want to make autumn stuff or whatever, people won't care as much if they don't get it all. That's my personal opinion. So that's that. On to Snowfolk. Who has made a perfect snowman? Have we all made perfect snowmen? Perfect Snowfolk?
Nope.
Really, Sean?
Really, I was meant
You're getting
to
coal
try...
for Christmas next year.
Yeah, I was meant to try the method that we spoke about last time with the paths that Moai might found and Michael told us about. But I've not done that yet. I was going to do it yesterday, but like I said, I hit a point on Immortals Rise where kind of the game took off and I was kind of distracted. So
I don't blame you. That's easy to do. That's easy to do.
I mean, I've seen a lot. I've seen again, Twitter, Instagram. I'm now part of a Animal Crossing UK Facebook fan group that is quite active, and a lot of people are doing exactly the same thing. It's like it seems so difficult to make the perfect snowman. I think I saw a picture yesterday that somebody thought they'd got it and it was so close to being perfect and it wasn't. So they just put a lot of campfires around the snowman. Doesn't actually melt them any quicker, but the principle of it.
I did that too. I used a round space heater. It was the last day of its life. It was mostly melted. I put a round space heater in front of it, took a picture and posted it on Twitter. So yeah, because it wasn't perfect and it deserved to go away quicker. That was my opinion. So what about you, Jed? How's the Snowfolk making been going for you?
I've been actually eyeballing. I've kind of found that I read... This was the first strategy I saw online before Mayor Mori about the path idea where you roll one snowball up to around the bottom of your ears. You know, you stand next to it to see where it's at, and then you do the other one. It's worked better than half for me, and because of how long the event is, I really wasn't worried or bothered if I messed up.
Sure.
Unlike the Christmas one.
Yeah,
that's going to probably bother me till next year.
Yep. Yeah, but, you're right to talk about the time difference between the two too. That makes a lot of sense. We have what is it, middle of February, I believe, before Snowfolk go away. So yeah,
so we have plenty of time.
Yeah.
To make and get all the DIYs.
I personally have done the 10 path thing since Michael PJP told us about it. First brought to us, as Chad said, by Mayor Mori, or first brought to Michael PJP by Mayor Mori. And it is, it works great for me. It's only missed one time. I think I didn't roll the snowball big enough to begin with. And so the downside is I now have 10 path runways through multiple areas in my island that I don't really want to be there. So though I have until the middle of February, I just finished my last perfect snowman to get all the recipes. I need 5 more snowman to finish out the Snow Maestro Nook Mile thing. So I will get those 5 snowman, and then I will not do the 10 path thing again. They'll all go away, and I'll actually use my center area to actually be decorations again instead of just snowman paths. So that's the only downfall to that particular trick, is that you have these paths throughout your island. Anything else on Snowfolk?
No, not that I can think of. it seems that they were slightly easier than finding the DIYs. So,
oh, for sure, no doubt about it. I will say, if you're playing with somebody else on your island, you only get one snowman per day. So whoever makes it first makes it. But the other person on the island can run up to the snowman and get a recipe, not a large snowflake, but a recipe. So FYI, if you're playing with other people, that's how that worked. You probably know that already, but just in case you didn't. So what's up next for us? Well, I'm quarantined. Normally, we would be going or we would have a family over and we would watch the ball drop, and it would, or some friends over maybe, or our one bubble friend that we have over and watch the ball drop. But that can't happen. So I will be posting in Discord that I will be hosting a New Year's Eve party. It's not going to be huge. I'm probably just going to invite some people over, like, 30 minutes before the ball drops or 20 minutes before the ball drops, something like that, or before the countdown clock goes or whatever. So if anybody,
service crash.
Right. And so if anybody wants to join me to celebrate New Year's in Animal Crossing, feel free to do it. I have ordered multiple glasses of sparkling cider, so there will be sparkling cider for everybody who wants it. I actually decided to put one in my tool ring because it's that type of year, and you should have a good beverage in your tool ring at this point. That's what I say. And so I'll be doing that New Year's Eve, probably, let's say 11:45. It's not like, nobody wants to hang out at my island on New Year's Eve for like an hour, hours on end. There's not that much to do. But if you wanna watch me watch the countdown clock, come on over. Love to have some people join me.
Are you gonna, regards voice chat, are you gonna use it, run it through the Nintendo online app, or should we look at using Discord for?
Well, I mean, Nintendo's app is so stellar. I don't know why we wouldn't use it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Charlie. It's just the opposite. We should probably use Discord. Totally use Discord.
All right, because like I said, New Year's Eve I'm working, so 11:45 for you will be 3:45 for me. So
yeah, you'll already be in the new year.
Yeah, I'll try and jump in on the chat if you're going to do it through Discord and say hi to everybody.
Sure, that'll be awesome. I love it. Sounds great. Yeah, I know. I told you I'm jealous. You get out of 2020 5 hours earlier than I do, in which you just blew up any hope I had and said 2021 will just be more of the same because you're just stealer of joy is what you are.
There's all the possibility that the kids won't be going back to school over here. So, yeah.
That's my balloon, folks, just in case you didn't know, in case you couldn't see. That's Sean popping my balloon and it just fluttering away into the...
What I'm going to do is I'll drop the meme that I sent you in the crossing.
Yeah, you might as well do that.
The best meme.
And then I will drop my Steve Carell Thief of Joy meme too, because that's all I have to say about that.
It's in there now. I know people, this isn't live, but people will see it and then try and figure out what the hell I'm on about. Yeah, it's there.
It's there. That's right. Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, so we want to try something new. I like to steal stuff from people, just to be honest. And so I was on Retro Logic, Dan Caparello, aka Blockfort Retro's podcast, and we did this thing called Retro Price is Right. I slaughtered that name. That's not exactly the name, but it's close. It's close, I think. And I was horrible at it. I was absolutely horrible at it. I think I was the worst contestant they ever had at it. And so, but I liked the idea. I like games and podcasts as long as they they work and they fit. And I have no idea if this is going to work or fit, but we're going to try. But I like GameScoop has the 20 questions. I don't know if any of you watch or listen to GameScoop, IGN's podcast, but I really like the 20 questions they do at the end of that. And so I thought, you know what, we should try a game. And so I stole this from Blockport Retro Logic. You should go listen to them if you like retro stuff. They're really good at it. Dan really knows his stuff, and so does DatFast John. They're both community members of the Nintendo Dads. But this is not a Nintendo Dads podcast. It's their own thing, just so we know.
I'll make an honest own up to that. I literally like to listen to Dan talking. I miss his voice on here, so it's the only way I get to listen to him talking.
So what Sean's saying is he turns the podcast on to go to sleep. That's what he's really saying. Yeah. I'm just kidding. Or maybe I'm not. I don't know. I don't really know if I'm kidding or not. Only Sean knows. And so we are gonna do the Nook is right. Nooks Price is right. I don't know. We're gonna work on a name, and it's gonna sound really good at some point, or we're just not gonna do this ever again. So what's gonna happen here? We have three people playing. Each person has picked 2 items. They know the total value of their items, and the other 2 people are going to guess what the total value is. This is not Price is Right rules. Whoever is closest wins. And what do you win? You win the great knowledge to know that you know Nook Price is better than the other 2 people. So, I mean, I don't know what else what's better than that? I can't think of anything.
It's definitely just bragging rights.
Yeah, bragging rights. That's what you win, and nothing more. What'd you say,
Imaginary Nook miles. You win imaginary Nook miles.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I like it. You win Dad Crossing miles, which gets you less than Nook miles, but that's okay. So I will start the shindig off. My 2 items are a wall-mounted TV, 20 and 50 inch. Now, I don't want anybody using their forsaken phones to figure out, like, if you nail it, I'm going to be very skeptical, just to be honest.
So, hands on the head.
Yeah. Wall-mounted TV, 20 and 50 inch. That's the 2 items I chose. Now, guys, this is just so everybody knows, this is the price you purchase them for, not the price that you can sell them back and Nook can take most of your money for, because he's a thieving little.
Because there's a big difference in some items on that.
Yeah, for sure.
GameStop prices.
Exactly. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, you're just getting stock credit with Nooks credit.
Exactly. What do you guys think?
Okay. 20 inch. I'm going to say 40,000 bells.
40.
Yeah.
Where are you at?
And
what's your price?
40,000 for the 20 inch and 65 for the larger item.
Okay. So altogether, you're at 105.
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay. Sean's at 105 for both of them.
Okay, and these are the wall mounts. I'm going to shoot a lot lower than he did. I'm going to say probably around 45 for both.
45 for both. Chad, you are much closer. It is 30,900 bells for the 2 of them. 8,900 for the 20 inch and 22,000 for the 50 inch. So 30,900 for the both, which means, Chad, you get the first point. I don't have a runoff, so if we tie here, I don't even know what we're gonna do. So don't. I could see the bell. I could see you guys thinking, like, what happens if we tie? I have no idea. All right, so who wants to go? Yeah, this could be. It's a very well could be a 3-way tie, and then we're all amazing.
Yeah, that's true. So the 2 items I've got is the hi-fi stereo, which is the one with the wooden speakers next to it, and the video camera on a tripod.
The TV video camera. Is it the TV video camera, or just video?
No, it's just video camera. It's the one on a tripod, not the big.
Okay. All right.
Oh, okay. So like the home version. Okay.
Yeah. There's 2 versions. I get the 2 versions of the high stereos mixed up. There's another one. Okay, I'm gonna shoot 95,000.
Is it combined?
That's combined, yes.
Oh, I'm still going to shoot low, and I'm probably off. I'm going to say 25.
So all I could say is that Nick, you were the closest, and I'm just doing the totals now. So as a combined, 114,000 bells.
That is the 80,000 one. There is one that has good sound that's like 20,000, and there's one that has good sound that's 80,000, and I couldn't remember which that was. I took a stab.
It's 82,000 for the hi-fi and 32,000 for the video camera, which is a lot. Like 32,000 for
I didn't think the camera was that much. I was thinking it was like around 10. I didn't think it was that much.
Yeah, to be honest, mine was 80,000 in my head, was 80,000 for the hi-fi stereo and 15 for the video camera. That's how I got to 95 in my head.
But this is where we was on about the big difference between the price you pay and the price you get back. So like that, the 82,000 hi-fi, you get 20,000 bells back.
Oh, that hurts.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nook. Can I have another?
32,000 for the video camera. You can sell it for 8,000. So that's a big depreciation.
Jeez. All right, Chad, what do you got for us?
All right, so we're going to go for the entertainment package this evening.
Okay.
We've got the billiards table and I don't know if there's a difference between the two price-wise, but the regular Nintendo Switch that you can purchase, the one with the red and blue Joy-Cons.
I'm going to go 60,000 all in.
Man, so you know why this gets me. I never have purchased the billiards table because I got it in a swap meet. So I think I know the exact cost of the Nintendo Switch. I think I do. Oh man, I'm gonna go 56,000.
And Sean, what was your number one more time?
60.
He got it. Yeah, the billiards table is outrageous. So he got it. He's a lot closer. Well, I guess not too much because yours is close to it. But the billiards table by itself is 77.
Really?
Yes, it is like one of the most insanely expensive.
Wait.
items.
Let me guess. Is the Nintendo Switch 36,000?
Nope, 29,980.
Oh,
I was going 32. That's why wow.
I legit thought
106.
I legit thought the billiards table was 20,000. I just like I was like, I'm just gonna guess 20K because I had no idea. Wow, that's way more than I thought it would be.
And a three-way tie, as I predicted.
Well, because we're all amazing. There you go. We all got 1 point. So we'll just leave it at being cool. So there you go. And guys, hit us up if you liked this, if you thought this was stupid, whatever you want. Let me know. Our feelings will not be hurt. We're dads. Our kids tell us the truth all the time, unfortunately. So just let us know what you think. Guys, what do you say we head over to the dad corner?
So, welcome over to Dad Corner. As an intro, we talked about the parenting side of this one. This week, we are talking about Christmas toy building. Now, I don't know what you guys do in regards to, like, if your kids get a new toy, like, I don't know, it's probably different for you, Chad, because they're kind of grown out of the, like, dolls' houses that need the stickers applying and building up and assembling before they play with it. But, like, Logan got so much track related stuff, so like Thomas the Tank Engine things that, like, obviously different pieces of track and stickers that needed applying, toys that needed batteries inserting, and it's kind of like, what do you build it before and then wrap it as it's built, this big giant thing, or do you just wrap it in the box and it's like all the amazement of seeing the box and everything that comes with it? But we kind of opted, and we do it every year, we opt for the leave it boxed and then I'll build it with him, which kind of becomes a bit of a nightmare. So the year we got him, do you know the Cozy Coupe style cars, the plastic?
Right.
Yeah, we got him one of those, but it was a dinosaur one last year, I think, and I had to build it with him sat in it. So like I slid everything out and got the base out and like kind of had it. He must have been 18 months old. He was a bit older than that. But anyway, he kind of like got the base out. He sat and plonked himself in the seat, and the first thing I put in was the steering wheel. And he just sat there pretending to drive it, and I had to like kind of lift it up with him and still sat inside it and put the wheels underneath and then try and put the top on. And like he would be, I've got pictures and stuff of like that Lindsay took while I was trying to build it. It was just ridiculous. He wouldn't get out of it.
It's like the epitome of like building the train while it's going down the tracks.
Yeah.
It's like building while he's in it.
But yeah, he's big into he's really big into his Hot Wheels. For a 3-year-old, I never thought he'd watch this much YouTube, but he'd literally, from the moment he wakes up, he just wants to watch Hot Wheels cars, Hot Wheels monster trucks, Hot Wheels planes, and people building the tracks and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's all I did. Christmas Day, I built 6 track items.
That's pretty awesome for him. I do the stickers. I assume they do this to save money. That's all I can think. They put the stickers that you have to put on to save money, not having to apply them or not having to like paint them on somehow. However, they do that with plastic.
Yeah,
that they need to do like 2 tiers, man. Like a tier where you put the stickers on, and are you willing to pay another X amount of dollars to have the stickers? I know that's impossible, but I'm just saying, man, those stickers are annoying.
Well, they do it for bicycles.
They what?
I said they do it for bicycles. I mean, you know, you want the bicycle put together, or do you put it together? So
yeah, seriously. Oh my goodness, I tell you. And if you're like type A, and you get like frustrated when it's just cockeyed just a little bit, and now you're like, do I try to rip it off? Because if I rip it off and I rip it, then I'm gonna like the kid's gonna be like totally like bawling. Or do I just let it stay like that? Or here's another thing: do you let your kids do it and just live with the fact that the sticker looks like total and utter crap? Like I tell you, those stickers are horrible for me.
See, we've got a pretty good system. If I open the box, I start working on building the thing while Lindsay applies the stickers. Because there's no patience with Logan. He kind of like, once the box is open, if he can't play with it in 5 minutes, he's like, he's like the car who was sat in it. Like I was building the Thomas truck, and he was trying to push Thomas around an incomplete track. I was like, just look, it's like, look, boy, you this isn't working. Stop, no, stop, Logan, stop, Logan. That's kind of how Christmas Day went. Logan, look, if you want this, you need to give me a second. It was unreal. And like no sooner had I built one thing and he'd play with it for 5 minutes, he's like went over into his corner of like his pile of toys and dragged another one over. Can we build this now? And I was like,
like, just let me finish this.
It's not only just let me finish this. Is like trying to help Lindsay cook dinner. And like I got a Joy-Con and I got Immortals Rising, so I was like, I really want to play with my toys.
Right. This kid wants to play with his toys, kid. Yeah, no, I get that. We bought Noah this Marble Mania game, or no, it's not a game. It's like a little thing. He loves this little marble track at my mom's, and the marble track's really simple. It just kind of like goes around a couple times, and then it falls into like a little dish, and then you put the marble back up. And this is like a really like intricate thing where you like shoot the marbles up, and it's not an enclosed system. You can take the marbles out, but you never have to like move the marbles. You can shoot the marbles up, and then you like turn the gears, and the marbles go up, and it runs down. And he just really is fascinated by this. To be quite frank, it's the best Christmas present. I am known to buy him presents that I think he'll like, and he thinks he likes, but he never in actuality plays with. Hence our the Mario Kart Hot Wheels track. Like I bought him that thinking he would love that. He loves Mario. He loves all of that. He played with it for a hot second. He never touched it again. Like he was just not interested. And I was like, gosh, it's like sitting. I can see it right over here. It's sitting over here. Has been sitting here forever. And I don't have the heart to throw it out because I know how much money that I spent on it and how much little it got played. That's the only reason it's still here. He would care less if I threw it away.
I'd have loved it if Logan had been interested in the Super Mario stuff, because I like the Hot Wheel track ones. Just because I like Hot Wheels as much as he does so it kind of works that he's quite interested. But from the videos that he watches, there's certain ones that he knows. So like there's this one where it launches the monster truck around as well as a car. And there's a scorpion that, like, if it hits it so many times, the scorpion flips and it opens up like a gold trophy area. And then you've got to try and change the track while it's operating to shoot the car or the monster truck into the track, into the gold trophy. And like that's been heavily used in quite a few videos that he's watched. And that's the one that he was like really fascinated on. So when I'm like, when we're doing the usual, like, around towards Christmas time, we're taking him around the toy store, and I'm like, "Oh wow, look, it's Super Mario, and it's like it's Hot Wheels," and he's like, "No, Daddy, I don't want that one. I want that one." So I was like,
"All right, fine, whatever, kid."
I was like, "Oh, okay." So
yeah. Noah he likes to play with the Mario cars. Like the Mario cars aren't down here; they're in his box of cars. But he wanted nothing to do. I could have just spent like $20 on the 4 cars or whatever that it would have cost to buy those, and he would have been just as happy with that, probably more so than like the whole track. I don't know why. He's like, I don't really care about this track. I just want to like roll them down our ceramic floor or whatever it is, our vinyl floor, and be done with it. But the Marble Mania game was really cool, but it had to be put together, and I knew that. But Noah really liked Labo, and I thought, well, maybe he'll be into this. And he was. It was more intricate than I thought it was going to be to put together. And I mean, to be fair, that's part of the thing. I mean, that's part of the shtick, is that you build your own marble like track. And he did a good job for probably half to 2/3 of it, and then he started to fade quickly. And then he would just kind of like, but he was still very helpful. Like he would go play with his sister, and then when I yelled at him because I made it to another page, he would like then run back in real quick and grab the pieces and get the pieces for that page that I needed to put together, and like just like put them in little piles for me. So I was very happy. He still like wanted to be present and part of it, and he's still playing with it. He's played with it more than he's played with the Mario Kart set that all year long. So I'm happy with that. What about you, Chad? Do you have any build nightmares stories?
Not this year. I can certainly think of past ones when they
whenever. Just give us a horrible story, Chad. Come on, you got one.
The best one was probably when the kids were very, very young. I cannot even remember what thing over these were. They were like tiny little pets. Daughters were into. It was full of plastic, maybe like one. And whenever you got them, you could get them in little packs, but then you could also big play sets they would come with. I wish I could remember the name of it, but the play sets were these intricate nightmares of everything you guys have already said, where you have certain pieces that go certain places, you have certain stickers that they all look the same, but they only fit certain places. And then one particular Christmas, I nearly lost my mind because they got, between both the girls, they ended up getting like 5 or 6 play sets. So Christmas morning, I'm literally looking at a dinner table full of stuff I'm going to have to put together. And it took me the better part of Christmas to be able to do that. And still to this day, I'm still scarred by it, versus, this past Christmas was, they're old enough now. It's like, okay, here's some candy and cash because that's what you guys want. So
yeah.
You have that to look forward to when they're teenagers. It goes so much smoother, I promise you.
It goes so much smoother, but teenagers are so much harder to buy for. Like,
that's the reason for the cash. We had to start doing
You're like, don't even try.
Yeah, because we would literally buy them stuff, and the way teenagers are a lot of times, they're like, oh, what do you like? I like A, B, and C. And so, you go buy it, and a month later you give it to them. They're like, what is this? Well, you said you like it. And that's old. I'm over that now.
That was totally a month ago, Dad.
So
it was the same way with
the issue. That's the issue.
It was the same way with it does, and it was kind of the same thing that I ran into with like what you guys did with like Among Us and Roadblocks. They're the ones me into playing Among Us. And last week I went to go play with them. Like, we don't play that anymore. Well, what are you guys doing? Well, we're playing Roblox. You haven't played that in a year. What's going on with this? So it gets easier, I promise.
Yeah, we had the similar issue with the presents for Jaya. Kind of like she picked some clothes from a website that she liked, and she picked these like bits of jewelry and this, that, and the other. And we were like, so like as we were going through his list, we kind of like to have a main present for the kids, and then like they have a couple of bits. So like my youngest daughter, we gave her a Switch Lite, so that became her main present because it was quite expensive. Like it was an expensive present, so that was her main present. And then she got like a few little figures and stuff like that, and chocolates and stuff. And like Logan got a few big track pieces that he really wanted, so that was him. And we were sat there one night, and we were like, "What can we get Jaya?" Because like in previous years, we bought her a digital SLR, and so which was one of my favorite things to buy because now we run a photography company like that's on the side, so we now have a third camera and somebody that's keen in photography. So she comes along and she blends quite well with people, and so she can take some photos and stuff. And she came in like this must have been 3 or like maybe a week before Christmas. She's like, she goes, I've seen these really cool cameras where like you can take a picture and it instantly gives you the photo there and then. And I kind of like, Polaroid camera. She goes, yeah, they're amazing. And I was like, they've been around years. How have you only just noticed this?
Where have you been, child?
She was like, yeah, but they look really cool. And like, I'd really like the idea of that because, it's fair enough. She like on a camera phone, you can take a picture and you keep it on the phone. You don't actually have it and it becomes less sentimental. She's like, I was like, all right, okay, cool. And then like she walked out of the living room and me and wife looked at each other like, we need to buy one now. So I instantly jumped online and ordered, and we got one of those Instax mini like cameras, which I personally think they're amazing. I like Polaroids. I had a big love for them when I was younger. We got that. She opened, but Christmas Day she opened it. She put the battery on charge. The battery's still on charge now.
That's always the crappiest feeling, is it not? I mean, you're just like,
So today is the day I'm going to put the battery in the camera and like the film, show her how to do it, and be like, there you go. It's there. It's done. It's charged. I want to see some pictures. So
now the one was it the one that has like the mini Polaroid, or is it the full size Polaroids?
The mini Polaroids. So
okay,
like the ones that like fit in your wallet quite easy. Just because we thought if she's going to go out with her friends and take them, she doesn't want to take a big, because I know the original Polaroid cameras were like
humongous. Yeah, compared to the pocket ones.
Yeah, so these ones are pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, for build nightmares, I've had several. I've had like issues where either things have been missing in the box, or while trying to build it, I've got annoyed and broken something. So it's kind of, yeah, I've had that in the past, but not so much now. It's kind of like after the third child, you kind of get used to the fact that you've got to build stuff. So
it's like an expected duty at that.
Yeah,
and
it's like I'd love to get into Lego with Logan, but it just destroy it. That's the issue I've got.
It's true. You're so right. Noah loves Legos and he loves to put them together, but like I've tried to be like, Noah, this is like, it's not really a toy. It's like not supposed to be, but it doesn't matter. And it's like gone. And then he just kind of plays with them. And that's, I guess, okay. Like he loves putting them together, but he doesn't ever put it together again. Like we put it together, he'll play with it that way. It'll slowly like fall apart. And then he'll just play with the little pieces. It drives me insane.
So like Christmas Day and Boxing Day, my friend Gaz was sending me like videos and messages. Like he'd got his wife's. He's really big into Lego, so he's got like all the big cars that have all got intricate pieces and stuff like that, and he displays them. He was sending me like loads of pictures. He got all the Mario Lego, he got all the Super Mario Lego.
All of them. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And I was like, he was sending me pictures of him like boxed, and I'm like, and I like in days after that, he's been sending me videos like all of it all built, and it's like all built and displayed, and it's just like it's got an open cabinet that he can go into and interact with them all. But then even his kids have got like different Lego sets, and they seem to respect it really well. And I don't know if that's just because they've seen him building it and looking after it.
Mm-hmm.
But I know for a fact that if I tried to get something like that, Logan would just kill it.
Yeah, and maybe they need to, both our kiddos just need to get a little bit older. Now, I will say what I've done with Legos, like I have a couple on my shelf now. And so instead of buying it for them, I buy it for me and I put it together with them. And then I tell them, hey, this is dad's, and it goes on the shelf, and they really love putting it together with me. I mean, even Ariel, who's only 4, but she's still like, I'll give her the piece that show her where it needs to go, and she'll put it in, and she'll stay in kind of, with the whole project for almost the whole thing. I mean, there's smaller builds, like I'll do like 150, 100 piece builds and stuff like that, nothing huge. And then, but once it's done, it's they know that it's dad's. It's not like a present for them, and then I'll put it on the shelf. So that's what I've been doing with that to make it a little bit better. I will say that we got my daughter a dollhouse 2 years ago, I think, for a birthday. I think it was a birthday present 2 years ago. I didn't realize how much repairs I was going to have to do on that thing. Like just today, the bed breaks again for the little Barbie. And here I am, like, I give it to her and I'm like, listen, man, I don't know how much this thing has got, like 4 screws and a couple nails. I was like, this thing isn't going to like hold up much longer. So you have to take better care of it. Okay. Like it breaks again. I'm pretty sure it's gone forever. And she's like, okay. And then she just like throws it, like to the side. I'm like, no, that's not taking care of it better. I don't understand. And so it's like, I just keep putting like, and there's always something. Like she comes to me with something and she's like, this broke, Dad. And I'm like, oh, okay, just like add it to the pile over there of stuff I'm going to try to repair at some point of your toys.
Logan's the same with, the Super Mario, the pullback go-karts.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
We've got a Yoshi, a Luigi, a Toad, and a Mario. Now, all the carts are all held together with epoxy resin because super glue just doesn't cut it. Because it can still. So, like the exhaust come off the side. He pulled them out, so everything's been to the point where the carts are indestructible. They work absolutely fine, but they're indestructible. Like there's little bits that'll never fall off. All the characters are fine, apart from Luigi. For whatever reason, Luigi's head keeps coming off. Literally, like clean, decapitated, perfect straight decapitation at the neck. And it's got to the point where I've glued it, like had to sand it down and epoxy resin it just to try and get it to stay together, that he currently has no neck and looks like Frankenstein. But, yeah, great. It's the same. He can like his airplanes. He's big into Disney cars and Disney planes. His Dusty, the plane Dusty, the main one, the landing gear on that is basically 80% epoxy resin with some little wheels sticking out of the bottom. Just because it's like I've glued it and like molded it and kind of like tried to get it so perfect all the time. It's just got to the point where it just keeps crashing and yeah.
I love it. Yeah, no, it's true. I will say that the one funny story about that marble game. So Becca, this was in the throw of Becca really. She's doing. My wife, sorry, her name is Becca. She's doing better now, and she's starting to feel better and all that jazz. But she really wasn't feeling good, so she was really just kind of laying on the couch, not doing much Christmas Day. And so I was determined to get this marble thing finished with Noah so that he could see it. And so it took, I don't know, I'd say a couple hours, probably 2 hours, to get the whole thing put together and done. And so like I stand up and I feel like an old man because I've been like cross-legged the whole time. So I'm trying to get around and I look at my phone and there's like 18 texts from like the mother-in-law, from my mom, everybody wishing Merry Christmas. But then like slowly as like we didn't respond, like our family who just got COVID didn't respond. Like all of a sudden I started to get personal texts of like, are you guys okay? oh, what's going on? Why haven't and then there was like a FaceTime message that I missed from my mom, and I'm like I'm sitting on the ground putting this Marble Mania thing together, and people are wondering like, are they still alive? Like, why haven't they texted us? Why haven't they even wished us Merry Christmas? It's almost 11 o'clock on Christmas Day. And so it was just really funny. I'm like, yeah, we're all fine. I was just putting together a toy. Don't worry, it's all good. We're good. But it was just really funny. You could see the text chain go like from Merry Christmas to like, are you there? Are you okay? Are you alive? It's just like, all right, we're fine.
Yeah. I must say that I think my favorite stuff to put together is as much as is impatient is the Hot Wheels stuff. They are really, like, the instructions are really well laid out and make sense. And they've got this really cool thing where if you flip it over now, a couple of years ago, I don't know if I didn't notice it or if they just didn't have it, but they started lettering. So like, or numbering the sequence of like how the track should go together. So like it'll go B1, B2, B3. See, oh man, that makes it so much easier.
That is nice.
And it's like, probably the technology of molding and things like that, but everything goes together and stays together. So I know when I used to have Hot Wheels track, it used to have like those little tiny plastic spades that you had to push in, and they either snapped, they got disfigured, or they just weren't up to the challenge of a kid really excitedly pushing cars around at breakneck speeds. But like, these battery operated Hot Wheels sets, this one he's got now, it launches the cars around like that fast. I'm just thinking to myself, God, if we had stuff like that no wonder my mum didn't like the battery operated stuff when I was a kid, because if like the track decided to let go, you're flinging a die-cast car across the living room at speed. Right. It's going to kill somebody.
No, now you have a hole in the wall and you have to explain what happened.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's totally true.
But yeah. No, I like building. I enjoy building stuff. It's and it speaks to how I am personally. I like to read instructions, follow it, build it. It's kind of like why I'm in the job that I'm in, of like engineering and mechanical kind of background. But I kind of want the kids to get into like the marble room thing. I think would have been good for my 8-year-old. She's getting into following the instructions and seeing how something progresses into being built and operational. Where Logan needs to grow up a little bit before he can do that. So yeah, but I saw quite a few of those marble sets that are like all magnet based. So like they just stick together with magnets. And I kind of suggested it to Lindsay that maybe it's stuff that we could like start getting him soon, and she kind of just laughed and said no, because it'll just be destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. This is probably the earliest I would have got it. Noah's 6. It said it was for 8+, but Noah he handles this kind of stuff pretty well. I'm good with building anything as long as either one of two things: the kids are into it, or when it's built, the kids play with it. When I get frustrated is when the kids aren't into building it, and then when I get done building it, the kids are like, I don't really care, Then I'm like, just want to like break it, like I'm done. You were talking about the numbering situation. Noah once for his birthday got this dinosaur that was like the skeletal of like a T-Rex or something like that, and it had all the rib bones in it. And when he got it, it was like a cardboard cutout that you just kind of like a Labo set that you just kind of put together, I mean, it wasn't a Labo set, but it had that kind of feel to it. And he thought he was being super helpful. So I told him we would do it. One of those things where I was like, yeah, but we'll do that. Let me just go and get a drink and I'll be right there and blah, blah, blah. And I took longer than I probably should. And by the time I get out, he had taken it out, popped out all of the ribs, which on the board were numbered. Not on the actual ribs, but on the board that he popped them out of were numbered, and popped them all out and like laid them in a pile. And I'm like, he's like, look what I did for you, Dad. And I'm like, yeah, it's gonna take a lot longer than it did before, but yep, we're gonna get this done. I just wanted to like light it off and fire. So it made me think when you said number, it made me think of that build when he did that. It's all good. I'm still here. It lights out, but it's all good. There you go. I think I kicked the cord.
I'm gonna say you're recorded, so please don't lose everything.
Yeah, for sure. No, it was just the lights. The electric's still on.
Yeah, I pushed this out to Discord, but nobody kind of got back to us. I think they were too busy smashing the balloon.
The festive DIY.
So
shooting balloons down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so as far as the village's bulletin board goes for this week, I don't think we need to go visit that as a section. So
because the community lit it on fire.
Basically, they kind of we asked them to ask. Well, every week we always put out to you guys that we want to, come at us with questions and things like that. It kind of helps us fill a bit of time in the podcast, but also because we like to answer the questions related to like either parenting, Animal Crossing, or just anything really. Give us some interesting ones that we can actually research and make an interesting topic. But anyway, we like to ask you guys questions. So what I'm going to do is I will thank all the Patreon members of the Nintendo Dads community for hanging out with us on Discord, for giving us the opportunity to answer the questions for you guys, or even just the comments that we can refer to when we're talking about Animal Crossing. If you're listening to this and you'd like to chat with us, and obviously everybody else that we talked about in this episode over on Discord, you can join in all the action for as little as $1 a month over at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. Thank you very much.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you want to move into the gaming topic?
Really quick to also mention, if any of you just want to hit us up, if you want to be like Chad and join in, and we are always happy to have a community member join our podcast and for an episode and chat with us about what we're doing and about what they're doing, about Animal Crossing, about being a dad, being a parent, whatever. So feel free to DM either me or Sean, and we'll set it up. I mean, we love kind of getting to know you guys better. So feel free to do that.
And we're very flexible with times. So I think for Michael, usually we record this, it's like 5 a.m. for me, it's midnight for you. But for when Michael was on, we kind of shifted the schedule slightly. So we're not fixed. So
Yep. Just if you're interested, let us know, and we'll figure out a time and date to make it work.
Yep. So what we'll do is we'll take a break because I need to grab some water, and then we'll go move on to the gaming topic.
Gaming topic.
Welcome back. I've got my water and we can start talking about the gaming topic for this episode, which we mentioned earlier. That's Cyberpunk 2077, where we were going through the list of games that I've been playing. I thought because of the drama that's been revolving around this game and several issues that it's had, that it'd be probably a good place to chat as soon as I bought it, spent some money on it, and can't play it. I'll give my views on the game because it is a good game. If you like Fallout, which I love the Fallout franchise. If you like Grand Theft Auto, which I know we're a family-friendly podcast, but obviously there's people out there that really enjoy playing Grand Theft Auto. What's the other one that I kind of linked it to? But BioShock, a little bit of BioShock, not with the plasmids and stuff like that, but with the sci-fi connection to it. If you like those three games and you want to play something that kind of all those rolled into one, this is a fantastic game for that. It's great. From the moment that you start it up and you've got to design your character, which there is a lot of variations for your character.
A lot, I hear.
Yeah. Some more graphic than others.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way. And I had a look at them. I went to design male and female. I wanted to have a look at like how, because I'd seen so much stuff online about it, so I thought I might as well see for myself what it was like. Oh my word, it's hilarious. It's so funny. You do have the option, by the way, to have underwear on and not have to worry about the graphic parts. So
that's nice.
You don't have to do that. Yeah. So yeah, the character customization is brilliant. The story behind Cyberpunk, I don't really know the full ins and outs of it yet because the game's been so difficult to play. I've not got so far in the story, but basically you play somebody that for me anyway, you can go down 3 different routes. You can either be like a wheelman who's all about driving and the cars and that side of life. Somebody that lives on the outskirts of Night City who like it's a bit Mad Maxy out there. Or then you can play the corporate kind of person that's big in the middle of Night City, which is the main area for Cyberpunk. And it's all about high rolling, high stakes kind of corporate gambling, and not like gambling is in casinos, but like stock gambling and dealing like other businesses and stuff like that. So I chose that route. So you kind of like you get set up on a bit of a deal to do with some valuable information. You get kind of set up and kicked out, and your guy then goes into being your character goes into being a bit of a mercenary to try and just make money and bits and pieces like that. And you kind of pick up from, it's like a nice montage, which was really good. The video aspects of it, so like where the game's not actually playing, but you've got like watching a bit of a VT. The Xbox One S, which is what I've got, handles it really well. It looks good, and it flows nice. It's not jittery. There's no like issues with it loading the videos. It's the gameplay side of things where it's really struggling. But that said, what I have played of it has been great. The way it controls, the way the firefights and stuff like that. The stuff where it has been working has been fantastic. And it will make a fantastic game once I've got a Series X or something that can handle it. So if I had really good internet, which is coming soon, 15th of January, I finally get fiber. I've looked at trying to maybe get Google Stadia because I'll have an internet provider that can handle it. But if you have something like that, I reckon it's fantastic. You don't have any hiccups with the game. That's great. What I'm having issues with is I'll wait for it to load. You have to kind of stay still, wait for your environment to load up around you and the graphics to come in properly, and then it's okay to play it. I've done maybe 2 or 3 missions, and what's happened at the end of each of those missions is that obviously there's a level up system, so that all the pop-ups for like you've gained this much XP and you've leveled up and you've unlocked this item, they all start rolling in at the same time as it's trying to load the environment, at the same time as like your guy will have to make a phone call to speak to a contact about what's happened in what you've just done, and can I get the prologue for the next part of the mission? All that's happening at once, and my Xbox just goes, no, and basically switches off. It just goes, nope, crashes the game. The Xbox needs to restart.
So do you lose that info? Do you lose all your progress?
No. You can load it in and wait. It goes through all that again, but because it's not trying to do everything all at once, it kind of works. Like the last time I played it, I went to go get in in my character's car at the same time as him trying to make a phone call while the level XP or like the level up system went, and it just crashed. And I sat there and I was like, that's really annoying. The mission I just did was really hard.
Yeah.
So I don't want to load it and have lost all that progress because I don't want to do that mission again. So I sat there and thought, is it worth the 20 minutes to wait for the game to load up, to be told like it's not saved the progress, and have to do it again and just be disheartened? So I've kind of left it. That's it.
So you have the step up one, right? The Xbox One S is the step up one, right? It's the half step of the last generation, right?
Yeah, you kind of go. You get Xbox One, Xbox One S, and then one Xbox One X. So I think the One S is the breaker into 4K, but not as powerful as the One X. Before then, you move up to the Series X, the Series S. So I thought it had handled it okay. I've seen reports that the PS4 Pro, which is on par with the One S, has handled this game quite well, and it hasn't. And I thought, fair enough. I'll chance it. It's £50. It's not breaking the bank, but obviously,
yeah, it's £50. It's £50. Yeah, it's money
to weigh up these things. So yeah, it's sat there. It's on the desktop on the Xbox.
So I mean, the real issue for me with this whole thing is how, like, okay, the game doesn't run on the last gen. Like, I don't understand why CD Projekt Red just didn't say, hey guys, this game doesn't run on the last gen. Like, I mean, I get why they did it from a business standpoint. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of money to be made. Although I don't know if that actually is going to work in their favor anymore because of all the bad press and all of the ill will that they've got and the lawsuits and the fact that now Sony has basically just said, we'll refund you if you want it. I mean, but like, yeah, I don't understand who in the boardroom thought, let's just pump this out and make some money and it'll all work out well. I don't. And then to be so sneaky as to be like, hey, here's your review copy, and to only hand out PC review copies the entire time. Like that's the whole problem. I don't care that the game doesn't run in last gen. I mean, it's a bummer. It should, I think, run in last gen, but so they got to the finish line and they're like, oh crap, it doesn't run on a PS4 or it doesn't run well on maybe it runs well on the PS4 Pro. I don't know. But like, just be honest. Like, they would have had a backlash, but it would not have been that bad. It would not have been near what it is right now, for sure. I just don't understand it. I mean, it's still
IGN released a bit of a article, and I don't know if I didn't read it all, but I think it kind of outlined that basically the developers kind of focused more on the next gen than the previous generation.
Sure. Yeah, and that's fine. So like, in, I don't know, September, August, whenever it was, come out and say, hey guys, this game that we said would be for the PS4 and then we've delayed a million times, it's not going to be for the PS4 or the Xbox. It just doesn't run. And you know what would have happened? The gamers would have been pissed. And yes, that would have been an issue. But you know what? That would have been a lot better than them just being like, let's coyly release this to everybody, this broken game. And then they can, suffer through it until we get lawsuits and they just start offering utter refunds because they realize how bad it is. I just don't get it.
Or even done some extensive testing. So don't focus on the high-end stuff. Let's okay, it runs on that absolutely fantastic, right? Okay, if we're going to release this game on consoles, let's go back, run it on these consoles. Does it work? Yes or no? If it doesn't work, right, okay, we need to strip it back a bit. How can we strip it back without damaging the aspect of the game? That's how do we do that? Because companies must have to do that now. Bethesda must have to have stripped Doom and Doom Eternal back enough so that the Switch can handle it without it being a massive issue. Otherwise, they wouldn't have released it, because that's what a good gaming development company does.
Yeah, and they have experience with this. I don't know if they did it or if they farmed it out to another company who does ports. But I mean, CD Projekt Red did this with Witcher 3. I mean, Witcher 3 obviously got rolled back in a lot of ways to work on the Switch. So it's not like they don't have experience in rolling stuff back or, doing whatever they need to do to make it work, unless it's just not feasibly possible. I don't know. But however it is, all I know is being upfront. You have stuff like Nintendo, and this isn't apples to apples, so I'll be the first to admit that. But you have stuff like Nintendo, and not that Nintendo hasn't done their share of sneaky stuff. So I mean, they're not a perfect. I'm not trying to say that, but like you can look at Metroid 4 and see Nintendo just basically coming out and saying, "Listen, this game isn't ready. We're going to start back from the beginning. We'll let you know. Don't expect to hear from us for a while, basically." And just being upfront about that kind of stuff, and not that they're always upfront. I just want to make sure you understand it. I understand that Nintendo isn't always upfront about stuff like that, but they had so much goodwill from Witcher 3 that they just like threw in a dumpster and set on fire with this game. It's just sad almost, to be honest.
Yeah,
like,
and it's opened up so many doors as well, because there's now gaming companies are now going to be really worried. The developers are going to be really worried, and it's now going to make games either take longer to come out, or they're not going to be to the potential that they could be, because basically they want to capitalize it. They know not everybody can afford a PS5 or an Xbox Series S or X, so they're going to play the games on the generation of console that they've got. So they're not going to. So people that have bought next gen and the high end stuff, high end PCs, are probably going to end up being out of luck, because developers aren't going to want to put as much effort into making it as great for them as it could be, because they don't want to leave everybody else behind. So it's just going to, I think this is an industry breaker in terms of it's going to slow things down. And the gaming industry this year has made more money than the music and movie industry did last year. So
I would be. Go ahead. Sorry.
The gaming industry is a fantastic gaming and a fantastic industry to be in for companies, which is like why you've got things like, and I think I took it as a joke, but KFC apparently making a console.
I know, right? Yeah.
I remember hearing about it. That is completely.
I thought it was a joke until. Like me and Lindsay were talking about it in the car, and she's like, "Oh no, they're serious. They've partnered up with Intel and other people." And I was like, "Nah, it's not going to work." But apparently, it is a real thing.
It's just crazy.
So that must be just how much of a decent industry the gaming industry is to be in. So you don't want to get it wrong, which is what's happened here massively. They have got it.
Well, hopefully they've kind of learned their lesson from. I think this is. I think it. I kind of feel bad for them, because I know they did try to probably, do the best job they can. But you hear about these situations, especially with like EA games, where it just gets rushed out the door, and poor team that was developing this, I'm sure you guys saw it literally became a joke the last 2 years. Cyberpunk doesn't actually exist. They just have some art, some people talking about it. It's never going to come out. I think it would have probably done them a little bit better if they would have done what Square Enix did with like the last Dragon Quest that came out. Just be upfront, okay, look, we designed it for these more high-end consoles. Switch, you'll get it later. It's going to be later. We're sorry, but we want to make sure when it comes out, it's right.
Yeah, that would have been perfect.
Yeah, they would probably. I'm sure there would have been a lot more people that would have been okay with it, because it's. Let's be honest, though, every time there's a generation turnover where a new system comes out, the old system is still around for another year or two. You're still people who they're not going to shell out $500 for a new PS5 or Xbox X, but they'll certainly shell out the $300 for the older model. So it's not like the market wasn't there. So it's probably just being rushed in general is what caused all this.
Oh yeah, I think that's totally. Like in my head, I have this scene of like the creators coming to the boardroom and saying, "Yeah, we can't release this on the PS4 and the Xbox. It's just not ready yet." And like you've just basically taken your market share and cut it to like what, maybe 20% at the well. I mean, you still got PC, but like how many millions of consoles have you just taken out of your possibility to sell to? And the boardroom was like, "No, we will release this."
It's a crazy amount.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
So there was no way they were going to be like, no, we're going to release this on all because we want the money. And I bet that was the biggest mistake that they could have made. I mean, yeah, I would love to see how it ends up for them on like a budget sheet on what they end up actually making after refunds and lawsuits and blah blah blah, all that stuff that they're going to be pay out.
I think the last time I read it, there were like 10 plus million in profit
From this
even
game,
even with refunds. Yeah,
even with refunds and all that stuff. Well, so maybe it was the right move. I don't,
yeah. I mean, the one thing I do want to do is Rockstar as a developer they had this issue with the last Grand Theft Auto, that they released it on the Xbox 360 before the Xbox One, and then it worked on there and it was good on there. It ran fine. It was good. It was a bit like latent in graphics and stuff like that. But then the Xbox One came out and they just changed the disc, basically turned it into a Blu-ray rather than just a normal disc. And we're like, this is exactly the same game, but look how well it runs because you're on an next-gen console. And they kind of they did it the right way around. Where I think CD Red have kind of got it the wrong way around. They've looked at making it the best as it can and forgot about previous ones. But,
yeah,
it gets a little bit harder to scale back. I just did this for fun because you were talking about how much it made. I just looked up what the estimated budget was, and it's made it cost $317 million to make it. So they have ways to go.
Yeah, it's just, and that's the problem, right? I mean, we've seen this with a lot of games that have come out, that when there is an issue like this in the beginning, it affects the tail of the game. It affects the ability for people to want to jump in at a later date, even when it might be a great game. Like even when the issues, I mean, it is a great game now, especially if you're playing on PC or Xbox X or PS5, all that jazz. But even when the kinks have been worked out for the PS4 and the last gen consoles, let me just say that, even when the kinks have been worked out in the last gen consoles, people are less likely to jump in when you've had this. I mean, No Man's Sky, right? I mean, that's kind of like the quintessential game that people look at as being a game that now people usually regard as being a decent game, but it came out as a mess and it never really recovered from it being a mess.
Yeah. And the same thing kind of happened with the last Star Wars Battlefront, where EA kind of notoriously put all their the treasure chest, the boxes in there, the loot boxes, and it was such a riot that there were tons of people like, well, I'll just forget it. I'll never play the last game that came out. We'll skip this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
At the same time as well, because it's been such a big thing in the news for gamers and stuff like that for so long, Cyberpunk 2077's come in, it's like this, and then it's come and it's been a dumpster fire for the last gen. If they release a patch, I think that makes it runnable. It'll go absolutely nuts because of the hype that it's already had, the press that it's currently got, and then if any amount of good news, they'll just make loads more money again, because bad press is still press. People are out there, they're still talking about this game. They're talking about, like, we're doing it now, how great this game could be if. And that's just, it's only going to make people want it.
I will say this, for a game that is as hyped as this was, as being so great, even IGN's PC, I believe the PC review got a straight up 9, a straight 9, which isn't bad. I mean, that's a great game. I think it might even be considered an amazing game on their scale. But I mean, it's still not what you would think you'd be looking at a 10 for a game that is as hyped as Cyberpunk 2077 is. And I'm looking up to make sure I'm right about that review score right now.
I think if there'd been a previous version of the game, so not like Cyberpunk, I don't know, you can like, there's no way, like Zelda Breath of the Wild got like a 10 because the previous Zelda games have been so amazing that this just lived up to everything that is the Zelda game, and then was so much more and so amazing. And it launched on a new console that Nintendo had worked on to make this game even better. If they had something like that, I think IGN take that kind of information and previous experience with a game or a developer to kind of go that way. So I think that might be why it didn't quite get the 10 out of 10 or the 9.5 out of 10. But the 9 out of 10 with IGN is pretty good to get.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not saying...
got 9 out of 10, I mean, I'd be impressed.
Yeah, I do. I understand that. I'm not saying that it's and I was right. So it's a 9 out of 10, and that is considered an amazing game. So let's not take away from it. I'm not trying to take away from it what it deserves. I just was a little like 9 out of 10. I was a little shocked. I was like, and I don't think they do points anymore either, by the way. I don't think they do like 9.5s and stuff like that like they used to. I think it's a straight up scale now. So I was a little like, oh wow, it didn't get 10. I was expecting it to do a little bit better than that. Which I think 10 they consider a masterpiece. So no, and you're right, 9 is amazing. I will certainly play this game on my S if when the price drops, which I imagine it probably will, given its current state of affairs. Or it comes to Game Pass, one of the two. Maybe Microsoft can get CD Projekt Red to put it on Game Pass, given its current media.
Microsoft never pulled it from the store. Or Sony pulled it from the store and just gave everybody a refund. But I don't know if you weren't then allowed to play the game as a digital download, or if it got removed from your catalog.
I don't know. Yeah.
Xbox have exclusively said, yes, you can apply for a refund. Yes, we are giving a refund on this item, but we will then remove it from your catalog and it's not playable.
Sure.
So I don't know if Sony have done the same, but they didn't pull it from the store.
Yeah, and that's only fair. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. But so you are not asking for a refund, is that right?
No. Only because I'm eagerly awaiting the news of Xbox Series X's coming in. So I got enough money that if I can put money towards the console as well as do the all access, I'm gonna do that. So if not, I can. Job security has changed for me, so I am now going to be in the same job as I was past April next year. So I'm quite happy to spend the extra 16. That sounds quite tight, but spend the extra like £16 to £18 a month to get the next console. So I'll probably
that makes sense.
Hold on to the cash that I've got, do it the all access, sell my Xbox One S, probably make £100 on that. 150, and then I don't know. I might end up with around a £300 mark. I might go down the realms of getting the Oculus Quest, so go back to VR a little bit. So
yeah. Ever since our VR conversation, this is totally a tangent. Ever since our VR conversation, I have been eyeing the Oculus, and but I don't have any time to play the S, quite frankly. I barely get to play my Xbox, so that always makes me stop and say, "You do not need this. Go away." So,
but yeah, I think I've hit that enough, and I think you guys are starting to look weary as it's quite late for you. So
it's true. We're going on 2:30 over here in the Eastern.
I'll roll us out, and but yeah. So thanks very much for Chad to join us. It's been good to have you on.
I appreciate you having me. It's been a lot of fun.
Very, very valued member of the
For sure.
Animal Crossing Discord community. Well, the Nintendo does community in a general, but you do quite a lot for us with Dad Crossing in the Animal Crossing game. So it's nice to have you.
I definitely appreciate it. And shameless plug for the Nintendo dads and Dad Crossing. If you guys, if you're listening to, and girls, if you're listening to this podcast or any of the other ones, if you haven't done it, I know Sean will probably say in a second, but do the $1 Patreon thing at least, because there's so many great people in this community. So many people I've made friends with that I probably wouldn't have us. It's well worth the dollar. You get to meet so many nice people, and you get to find out so many other things. And plus, Justin and everyone else that does any of the podcasts, they're great at what they do. So I'll just plug that out there. And I really appreciate both of you guys, especially everything you do and doing the Dad Crossing podcast.
Thanks, Chad.
So thank you. So as always, Dad Crossing is part of the Nintendo Dad's family of podcasts. You can find new Nintendo Dad's content wherever podcasts are found. If you have any questions or comments, you can reach out to us on Twitter and Instagram. Everything is at @NDadCrossing. We want to give the Nintendo Dads a big shout out as always for allowing this craziness to happen. So from Nick, our dude Chad, and myself Sean, we hope your village is snowy and your villagers are happy. Stay safe.
See you later, guys.
Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Now we'll go back.